Show in college football. 4 top 10 teams went down. We'll dissect the upsets and how it affects them moving forward.
Yeah, Paul, LSU got one of those top 10 wins against Auburn, and Coach Orgeron will join us to talk about it. Oh, how things have changed on the Bayou. We can't wait to get Coach O's take on everything going on at LSU.
And Booger McFarland joins the show to discuss the state of the Pac-12. Are they done in the playoff race? Find out next.
What about that loud house tonight? All we saw was a sea of orange. Orange waves. All orange. Big orange. All orange. Who's orange? What house? Who's house? Who's house? Who's house?
And the energy in that locker room. I mean, wouldn't it be great to be young again and be crazy? And
Have you ever been in one of those locker rooms when that's happening?
nothing quite like that.
I would really enjoy that. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I wonder if you get like lost in the shuffle though at some point in there. You get your toes stepped on or
rowing
something.
the oar for a second there.
Yeah, well,
We'll
we
talk
don't
to
want
him
to
later.
do that. Yeah, we will. Dino Babers joins us. That's going to be really interesting. Paul, by the way, did anything happen in college football this last week? It really wasn't eventful, right?
I will never again say this is the worst weekend of the college football season because this is two weeks in a row now, Laura, that we said that, and it all comes apart.
It did, and in so many different ways. 4 top 10 teams falling. I mean, you just don't see that happen, but it feels like every college football season there's one really important week. And Paul, I think when the College Football Playoff Committee has to go back and make their decisions when they start releasing rankings, but even that final decision, they're going to look back and curse this past week because it really made a lot of mystery for what's going to end up happening.
You know, it's interesting. At 10 o'clock Friday night, we were watching, a group of us were watching the Clemson game together. It all seemed lost for the Tigers, and by 2 o'clock Sunday morning, when the Washington game ended, they were almost, not quite, but almost back in contention. They were right outside the number.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a path for the Tigers to still make it to the college football playoff, obviously, but they can't win anymore. So upsets abounding, Paul. I mean, when you see what happened over this past weekend, I mean, we didn't even talk about the teams in Washington.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much all over for that state. I mean, the Apple Cup.
You're down on that state.
The Apple Cup tickets are now available for that game. Mike Leach had his moment in the sun. Maybe did one too many interviews, and Chris Peterson just got stunned. And because of their non-conference schedule, Laura, they are not going to get the benefit of the doubt this time around.
Yeah, you know, Peterson, I thought, was more interesting even than what happened to Mike Leach because this is a team that's been known for great offense. They have very rarely struggled like that, and it had been a battle of these late games and all of that, and then
that's all he talked about last week. He complained about ESPN putting his program on in prime time, and of course they didn't quite make prime time. The game ended Sunday morning right before Joel Osteen came on.
Do you watch that?
I do. I like Joel a lot.
You're so positive. That's why you like Joel Osteen. You know, Mike Leach and what Washington State was doing, it was fun to watch. It was great to see. But I'm with you. And at this point, Paul, are we in a scenario now where you wonder, can the Pac-12 even make it to the college football play? Is USC really the only team that's going to give them a chance?
I think USC has a path because the Notre Dame game coming up and a few others. But I've been known to write some teams off too early, but I am officially, Laura, writing off the state of Washington.
All right, well, I'm marking down this day as the day that you did that. LSU with a huge win, Paul, over Auburn. A lot of people said a couple weeks ago this LSU program was dead and gone. What was going to happen with Coach O? And then, boom, look what they do. Okay, on the road against Florida, that was one thing. But against a top 10 Auburn team, wow.
And this is one reason why Coach O got the job, because he has a way with the team. Les Miles at times seemed to lose focus, but look at some of these numbers in that second half. And they shut down a top 10 team and came back from a 20-0 deficit. And instead of people belly aching about LSU this morning, they're doing that in Auburn. And we welcome in the man of the hour, Coach Orgeron. Coach, congratulations. You've had some great victories, but that one had to be very sweet.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate all the kind words. So happy for our team and our Tiger family.
Coach, let's talk about the second half comeback. It's easy to talk about what happened and what didn't go right in the first half, but what went right for you and how did you do it in the second half?
You know, the belief in our football team, the leadership in the locker room, coaches making halftime adjustments, coming out and starting fast, going 3 and out, playing great defense, holding to 64 total yards. Our offense made the plays when they need to, and special teams came through big time.
Coach, I would imagine it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride for you over these last few weeks. How would you just describe what's gone on there with this team and the process of getting them to the point of being able to knock off a team like Auburn?
Leadership, grit, determination, staying focused, believing in each other, not reading the paper, not listening to what's out there, just staying, believing what we're doing, staying the course.
Coach, let me talk about what went wrong a couple weeks ago and how you dealt with it. We talked a week ago and you discussed it, how you kept this team together. But I'm really interested because you had to be pretty down. You lost a home game and many were writing you off.
Yeah. You know, we had to go back and fix the things we could fix. On Monday, we had a meeting with 11 leaders on the football team. They told me everything that they felt that the team needed to do to get better. Then they went in there and talked to the football team. We had some guys step up. We had some leadership throughout the football team, young guys, old guys. We had ex-players come back, talk to our team. Duke Riley talked to our team Thursday before Florida. It was an excellent talk. We started practicing the way the Tigers could. Our staff stayed galvanized, and we made some plays when we needed to. This team needed some plays, and it gave us some confidence, and they're starting to play with passion, and we have a confident football team today.
Coach, I know sometimes you don't want to single out individual players, but I'd love for you to tell us who has truly led the charge on this team from a player perspective of getting things turned around.
You know, you got to look at a guy like Russell Gage. He's played phenomenal football for us on special teams. A young guy named Rashard Lawrence. He's been a tremendous leader for us. Devin White, who's leading the SEC in tackles. DJ Chark, the job he's doing on special teams. Will Clapp at offensive line, and on and on and on. We got guys, leaders popping up all over the place right now with true grit and determination.
Coach, let's move ahead to this Saturday night. It will be a familiar surrounding for you. What will be going through your mind?
It will never be about me. You know, it was a tremendous opportunity for me. I didn't do a good enough job, but you know what? I learned from my mistakes. Those mistakes I'm not making today. I'm forever grateful for Robert Kayak to hire me. But you know what? Me and my family have put that in the past. This is not another SEC game. It's a rivalry game. It's going to be a tough place to play. They got one of the best quarterbacks, best receiving corps we ever seen. This year is going to be a tough challenge.
And Coach, you mentioned Ole Miss and their great quarterback and Shea Patterson and that receiving core. How do you defend that?
You know, we're going to start working on it today. Dave's going to have a good plan. Obviously, we got the cover. Obviously, we got the rush. They're going to make some plays. They're good. They're going to beat one-on-one coverage. You just got to hang in there.
Coach, it's always a pleasure to visit with you. Win or lose, you're always gracious with your time. Thank you for coming on, and we hope to visit with you again very, very soon.
Thank you, Paul. Go Tigers.
You got it.
Thanks, Coach.
Ed Ogeron, Laura, it is going to be interesting, and he said it wasn't about him. He's going back to Oxford. For those who didn't quite catch that, he was fired there. He had a really disastrous run. Many did not think he would get a head coaching job after that.
And oh, how the times have changed. I mean, 2 weeks ago, all we can talk about, I mean, we talked about this. Well, they lose to Troy. It felt like Coach O, maybe he's not the right guy for the job. Maybe he can't be a head coach. Look what he has been able to do in this amount of time. And I don't even think that's an overreaction to say that sitting here now, because you've beat a Florida team on the road and an Auburn team on the road.
Yeah, you're right. And you can quibble about how maybe we thought too much of this Auburn team. It doesn't matter. They had this game in the bag, really, Laura. It was ridiculous to think that LSU was able to come back against a team that many of us thought was going to contend with Alabama and Georgia. But there was a resiliency, and I think for all those statistics about Auburn having not won in Tiger Stadium since 1999, that was great until the game was on the line, and I think something happens in that stadium. We've both been there many, many times, and we saw it. It was incredible to watch.
There is a magic in Death Valley, and there's also a magic in the Clemson Death Valley, but this LSU Death Valley has a personality all its own. And Paul, I'm interested in your take on the Auburn side of things, because Gus Malzahn, now everyone's like, okay, well, this is what Gus Malzahn does. You know, he gets conservative at times. Is this something that he's going to be able to turn around from?
I don't know. And Malzahn started the season talking about how this was his best team. Pat Dye joined us a couple of months ago and said, this might be the best Auburn team ever. I'm not sure I would have agreed with that, but Gus Malzahn now has real pressure on him. I say this for this reason. You can look at the schedule and go, he may face 3 of the top 4 or 5 teams in the country. That's not the answer. He still has to go to Arkansas this week, which has pretty much been left for dead, and then A&M, which is a team that is in reverse of that, and then Georgia and Alabama. Think about this, Laura. Gus Malzahn, since the 13 season when he nearly won the national championship, should he lose to Georgia and Alabama, that will make him 0 for 8.
Wow.
That is not enough to satisfy Auburn people, and another loss or two, and he will firmly be on the hot seat. He may already be.
You have to beat those rivals. So true.
You can't get away with it.
Okay, so a team that Auburn did play to start the season off was Clemson. Now, Clemson is dealing with being crushed by Syracuse. And this was absolutely insane. No one saw it coming. I don't care who you are, but it had a lot to do with Eric Dungey and his performance. Also had a lot to do with Kelly Bryant going down. Dabo Sweeney discussing where they go from here.
A lot of pain in our locker room, and but listen, this is a story about Syracuse. This ain't about Clemson. This is about Syracuse. They outplayed us, outcoached us, and you know, give them a ton of credit. This was a football game that they just flat out wanted more than we did, and that's 100% on me. We had a bunch of penalties. Third down, we couldn't stop them, and we couldn't stay on the field on third down. You know, just didn't do the things that you got to do to win games. You know, so that's my responsibility.
Look at this. This is what happened. Syracuse, a team that you could, I mean, we had a show on Friday, Laura. I don't think we mentioned this game other than in passing. That was one of the biggest wins this program has had. The program has had tradition, but lately it has all gone away, and Dino Babers certainly has made a name for himself.
But, Paul, you said that maybe Clemson was going to run into a loss somewhere. I don't think you thought it was going to be Syracuse.
No, I definitely thought. I thought they would lose somewhere. But let's welcome in Coach Babers to the program. Coach, first of all, well, let us be the last ones to congratulate you. I can only imagine what it's been like since Friday night.
Well, Paul, thank you so much. This is an honor. I mean, to be on your show, it means you've either done something really, really good or you've done something really, really bad. So.
Well, Coach, let me make it simple for you. You've done something really, really good.
Well, thank you.
What's it been like since Friday night?
Not a lot of rest. It's been really hectic. I think all the interviews with the press got done around 12:30 in the morning. By the time I got home, had my little fried noodles and watched the game again. Went down, I don't know, somewhere between 3:30 in the morning, and I had to wake back up and do recruiting in the state of New York. So I flew out to the state of New York all day, and then I got back in. We had 3 recruits in that weekend, so I had recruiting dinners on Saturday, recruiting breakfast Sunday morning. Once the recruits flew off, I had to go back and regrade the tape offensively, defensively, special teams to go through with the coaches, and then watch it again one more time before I sat down with the players Sunday at 3 o'clock. And now we're in breakdowns for Miami. So I'm a little tired, but I'm going to get over it.
Yeah, Coach, I bet recruiting was pretty easy for those visits after that huge win. But I'm interested in your quarterback and what Eric Dungey has done there. What can you say about him in just an incredible performance against a very good Clemson defense?
Well, you know, as we say in the state of New York, he's the straw that stirs the drink. And last year we went into Clemson, we took out a lot of his plays because we just couldn't lose him. We know it was going to be a hard game to win, and we were going to let him play, but we weren't going to expose him. And we went about 14 plays before they knocked him out of the game. I believe he got knocked out of the game on the 14th play. He never played again the rest of the season, and we went 0 for November. and missed going to a bowl game. And our big thing this week was, even though our fans, I don't think they really wanted us to do it, is that we were going to play him as a normal guy and let the man upstairs handle whether he survives it or not. And Lord and behold, he goes out and have a game of the ages.
Coach, a couple of things after the game. One, Dabo Swinney coming in and wishing your players well. And secondly, that incredible scene that has now gone viral, but we've shown a million times on ESPN of, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I do want you to explain it to the rest of us.
Well, first of all, that's something I've done for a while, and I've done it with all my teams. I had to get, I stole it for another coach, but I also asked for permission before I used it because I thought it was one of the coolest things I've ever saw. But when it came to Dabo talking to the team, I was actually gone to my press conference already, so I wasn't in the locker room when he was in there, and I did not hear what he said, and the other coaches were in the locker room, were getting showered. But I asked some of the players, and I saw some of the players off their tweets that they did on social media, and they got a charge out of it, and they have a lot of respect for him. And I have a lot of respect for Dabo as well. And if I would have been there and he would have asked to talk to my team, I'd have said, heck yeah, go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned you've already turned the page to preparing for Miami. What's the thought process there, and how do you take this team down?
It's going to be difficult. Obviously, you're playing another fine opponent. You're talking about some of the best athletes in the United States of America and around that university and in that state, and especially southern Florida. And they're fast, they're quick. Mark Richt is a fabulous coach. This is, he's not a young guy trying to cut his teeth. He's been around. He knows exactly what he's doing. You can't do anything that he hasn't seen before. And he's got a top 10 team that's undefeated. And they're making a national championship run like they used to do in the old days. And I guess we're just coming down there, and we're another one of those teams that are going to be playing them at their place. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach, final question. I'm not a food critic. I'm a college football analyst, but go back to what you said. You got home after the game, and you had your fried noodles. What exactly is that?
Inquiring minds need to know, Coach.
All right, Paul. This is you may not. I'm going to give you the lowdown on the fried noodles. Fried noodles started as a college student when you didn't have enough money, and basically the noodles are ramen. You know those things you can get 13 cents and 12 cents, and you can get the chicken flavor, the beef flavor, or the Asian flavor or Oriental flavor with the little package in there that you boil.
Coach, you've never heard of beer and pizza after a game? I mean, what's wrong with that?
No.
Ramen's even cheaper, okay?
No. Well, I'm not done yet. Wait a minute. So you gotta boil the noodles, okay? And when it started, early in my coaching career. We didn't have any money, so the meat in the noodles was fried bologna and hot dogs.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
So you would fry the bologna, chop it up, and put it in there with the noodles. You'd boil the hot dogs, chop it up, and put it in the noodles, and that was the meal. Okay, that was the meal when we got started. Now the meat is like shrimp, steak, Italian sausages.
So you're not letting go of it though, huh?
No, but we still put the 27 or the 27 cents or the 33 cents noodles in there with all those other types of meat. And then you boil all of it, you cook all the meat, and then you drop it into a really hot skillet and fry the noodles for a period of time and throw it on your plate hot on top of about 3 egg whites that you drop down there. So on the bottom of that is an egg white with the noodles and the meat. You put it all together, and you eat that with your favorite iced tea after a win. Fried noodles.
Coach, Paul and I are going to cook up our own version of that, and we will send you a photo, and you'll have to critique our fried noodle technique.
Anthony Bourdain just texted me for your number. He wants to do a special on this. Coach, thank you. I could talk to you all forever, but they're telling me we only have an hour in the show. But I hope you'll come back, and congratulations again. Regardless of what happens the rest of the way, you made a lot of people's night with your dance after the game, and now the fried noodle story. It's going viral.
Paul, thank you so much, but I got to say one thing before you get me off of here. I saw a picture that is absolutely unbelievable, and I've got to mention it. I saw a picture somewhere, I don't know where it was, with you and that young man that had that thing on his head that made it look just like
That was Mini Paul. Mini Paul.
I thought that was unbelievable. I saw that picture and I said, "Are you kidding me? That's funny."
Coach, we were in Athens, Georgia, on Saturday morning doing a show, and this little kid had a sign. What was the sign say?
It said, "Hey, Finebaum, say hello to my fine mom." I'm not sure about that. That is what it said.
Coach, thank you for saying that. But you're number one on our favorite coaches list right now. So
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations again. It has to be incredible, even though it doesn't sound like you really enjoyed the victory very much working since Friday night.
It's hard to enjoy it when you got Mark, Rick, and the Canes undefeated and a date on your dance card on Saturday. But we get a bye after that. I'll try to enjoy it after that.
Yeah, I'm coming up there for a late night dinner one night as soon as I can get up there. And I have been to Syracuse, so I'll be back. Coach, congratulations again.
All right, you guys have a blessed day.
Thanks, Coach.
Wow, that is
Paul,
too much.
you did have Mini Paul. His name is Zachary, by the way.
Yeah,
he is becoming way more famous than you.
He is.
Let me just go ahead and say, he stole the show. I mean, no one can ever compare to that.
No. One more thing on Coach Babers, though, Laura. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine is an athletic director, and he was compiling a list of coaches. He was about to make a change, and he told me about Coach Babers. I really had heard his name, not very, very prominently, and he said, well, keep your eye on this man.
Yeah.
He's going to go places, and, of course, Syracuse snapped him up, and I didn't want to say this while we were chatting with him, but someone else is going to try to snap him up pretty soon.
Well, that's exactly what was occurring to me as we were talking to him.
Yeah, now this guy is you know, the phrase "the real deal" is overused. It's cliche, but
He's the real noodle.
you heard, and he just got a big time contract representing. Meanwhile, Marcus Spears is up, and he wants some of those noodles.